Parents, if you found yourself feeling emotions that you didn't expect as a parent, like shame and loneliness, even resentment, then this is for you. I would like to identify the struggle and talk to the parent who thought the hardest part would be their child's choices, but what's actually been harder is what's been happening inside of you. No one prepares you for this part. The quiet shame, the distance you're feeling from people, the heaviness that sits on you some days, and even moments where resentment starts to creep in. And I want to say this because not every parent experiences this, but many do, more than you know. And they're going through it quietly. So if you do experience this, it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you don't love your child. And it doesn't mean you've lost your faith. What it does mean is that you're human and you're walking through something that is deeply painful. Um, so let's name some of the things like one, shame. Shame can sound like, what did I do wrong? And what are people thinking about me as a parent? Um, and you're probably thinking, I should have done better, I could have done better. And what happens is you start carrying something that was never meant for you to carry. And then another emotion is loneliness. Loneliness shows up when you're feeling like people don't understand your situation or your journey, and you don't feel like sharing it, or you don't feel safe sharing it. So you start keeping things in, you know, secretive. You're smiling on the outside, but you're carrying it all alone, right? Another emotion, depression. And then there's that heaviness where your energy is low, you feeling distant, and even your normal routine feels harder than it used to be. And then lastly, resentment. Resentment, this one is hard to admit because it can show up in thoughts like, why are they doing this to me or to the family? Why do I have to carry this? Why does it feel like everyone else is enjoying their family situation, or everyone else gets to move forward, but we're stuck? And if we're honest, sometimes it's not just toward the child, it could spill into other areas, even towards God. I want to give you a different perspective, hopefully, a shift that maybe can help you breathe just a little. These emotions can be a byproduct of this prodigal journey. It's not your identity as a parent, meaning this isn't who you are, it's what you're walking through. And if you don't recognize that, you'll start trying to fix yourself instead of learning how to walk through this season with support and truth. So let's separate what you're feeling from who you are. Instead of saying, I am a resentful parent, begin to say, I'm noticing resentment coming up. And that small shift creates space, and it gives you the ability to bring it to God instead of hiding from it. Then you have to bring it into the light. You were never meant to carry this silently or alone. And that might look like journaling and being honest in your journaling, um, talking to someone you trust, or even saying it out loud in prayer to God. I don't like how I'm feeling right now, but this is where I am. Okay. Um, then we have to watch the isolation trap. One of the enemy's strategies is isolation. Because when you isolate yourself, everything feels heavier. And so, even if it's uncomfortable, I want you to stay connected in some way. That might not be to everyone, but it needs to be to someone. Check what you're feeding yourself in your mind. If you're constantly replaying what's going wrong, your emotions are going to follow in that direction. Gently begin to bring in some truth, scripture, encouragement, reminders of who God is in this. Give yourself permission to be in process. You don't have to rush to feel better. Healing is a journey, and it's often quiet, and it's layered, and it's ongoing. There is also a spiritual layer to this. Because when a family is under strain, the attack isn't just external. It often tries to wear down on the parent emotionally, and you feel weaker, more confused, and more alone. Which is why guarding your heart in this season matters very much. Not in a way where you shut down, but in a way where you stay anchored. If you've been feeling any of these things, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not the only one. You're not meant to figure this out alone. This part of the journey, the internal part, is just as important as what's happening with your child. And if you need help walking through that, that's exactly the kind of support that I offer. But for now, just start with this. Notice what you've been feeling without judging yourself and bring it into the light. One moment, one step at a time.